The sirens stopped an hour ago, but their echo still vibrates through the cul-de-sac. Our street looks the same, neat lawns, white fences, and the faint hum of sprinklers, except for the tape fluttering outside Mark Delaney's house. He was my neighbor, my friend, they'll say. Now he's a body zipped in black plastic. I stand behind the crowd, hands buried in my pockets, pretending the chill in the air bothers me. The scent of iron still leaks from the garage, mingling with detergent and paint thinner. The detectives whisper. They always whisper at first, before they start pointing. Someone mentions his watch missing. Someone else says there were no signs of forced entry. That part makes me smile inside. Of course there weren't. Across the street, Mark's wife cries into a blanket. The streetlight flickers once, like it's wincing. I look at it too long, just to seem human. Detective Ruiz comes to my door before noon. She's polite, the kind of polite that hides sharp edges. "We're asking everyone a few questions," she says. I invite her in. Coffee, the usual play. She studies the photos on my wall. Barbecues, neighborhood parties, one where Mark and I are laughing over the grill. I tell her what she wants to hear, that Mark was quiet, helpful, that I can't imagine anyone wanting to hurt him. All true, in the right light. She asks where I was last night. I say home, watching the game, alone. She writes it down, doesn't look up. Then she asks if I ever noticed anything unusual, noises, arguments, visitors. I pause just long enough to look thoughtful. He'd been distracted lately, I say, probably work stress. When she leaves, the air feels lighter. I wash the mug she used, slowly, carefully, until there's no trace of her fingerprints. They'll find nothing here. I made sure of that. By the second day, the neighborhood changes. Conversations break mid-sentence when doors open. Curtains move more than they used to. People are scared, which means they start remembering. The more they remember, the closer they get. The detectives return, this time with questions about the camera on my porch. I hand them the footage myself. I already edited it, of course, trimmed the timestamp, cleaned the sound. They thank me for cooperating. Ruiz looks almost impressed. But paranoia works both ways. At night, I catch myself listening too hard, for footsteps, for engines slowing outside. I remind myself it's control that keeps me safe, not fear. Control built every step of this, from the moment Mark crossed a line he shouldn't have. He thought he could ruin me quietly, expose what he found on that hard drive. He was wrong. 3 days later, they find the drive, buried behind Mark's tools in the garage. Encrypted, but not enough. Ruiz calls me to tell me they're looking into some irregularities. Her tone is cautious now, not accusing. She thinks the files will lead to Mark's blackmailer. She's right, they already have. What they don't know is that every file points somewhere that isn't me. Emails I fabricated, timestamps I shifted, payments rerouted through a shell account I built months ago. I didn't plan to use it, not until Mark pushed. The truth always needs a scapegoat. He just didn't realize he was building his own. When I hang up, I watch the street through the blinds. Everything looks still again. For the first time since it happened, I feel something close to calm. Not relief, not guilt, just balance. Ruiz returns one final time, not for questions, but confirmation. They've traced the blackmail trail. A name, a confession email, a suicide note left on a rented laptop. Everything fits too perfectly. "Looks like your friend had secrets," she says quietly. "Guess we never really know people." I nod. No, we don't. She hesitates, watching me. There's something in her eyes. Suspicion or respect, I can't tell. Then she thanks me again, leaves, and the sound of her engine fades down the street. Justice, they'll call it. Balance restored. A neighborhood safe again. They never think about what justice costs, or who writes the story first. It's quiet now. The street's back to normal. New neighbors moved into Mark's house last week. Young couple, eager to belong. They wave every morning. The bloodstains under the garage tiles are long gone. scrubbed away with bleach and memory. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear that faint hum from the security light. It flickers, the same way it did that night. I take it as a reminder, not of what I did, but of how easily truth can be managed. People talk about justice like it's a virtue. It isn't. It's a calculation, one I solved long before they started asking questions. I look out at the quiet street, the same way I did the night Mark died, and whisper to no one, justice was never about mercy.